So here's another one too. So a lot of people talk less. I mean, talk. They just talk, continually talk, and they just rah rah blah blah. Sis boomba.
Sis boomba.
Talk.
Just that.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna maybe one day. Even pumping themselves themselves up, like, oh dude, what dude talking about me? You know how I am. I do this, bro. I've been doing this since '92, baby. You know, they go into this whole like
I learned more than you ever.
But no, baby. Even we used to catch people in lies so much because they were so busy talking. Oh, I know my mom knows the mayor. Oh man, yeah, they would go so far into all these lies. Oh man, my dad builds airplanes and tanks and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, what do you do? And he's like, yeah, one day I'm gonna. They never do. Most of them never do it. You're talking about, this is honestly the truth. You're looking at two guys who every single time try to talk less about what they're doing, do the action, get it done, and then when somebody asks them about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. Anyway, so what were you, like, it wasn't even a big deal.
Again, that goes back to humble.
Yeah, but overall,
being humble.
Talking, doing the action portion of it is the hard part, and a lot of people don't want to do the hard part. Like, people are very lazy these days. A lot of people are super lazy, and there's no. Let's say you set a goal. Let's say you set a goal for vacation, or you set a goal for whatever. Like this dude, or even me, we both set vacations up early. Mo set it up beginning of the year, or the year before he even does it. But I'm just saying, like, it's smarter to do it that way, and that works with everything in life. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to see completely the path, and it's okay to be spontaneous, have spontaneity. There's no issue with that. But overall, like, it's also interesting. I'm saying talk less, meanwhile I'm talking my ass off, right? But
we're talking about something.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about what we're gonna do. But yeah, so like if you put a goal down, like even through the beginning of the year, you know, since this is still the kind of beginning of the year, people put down their visions, or they put down a vision board. Like my wife likes to do a vision board party, or she writes her visions down, or her goals for the year. We sit down and we try to do that with each other. You know, and what's crazy is I look back on all of them. I keep them in my notes on my phone, and I accomplished most of them. Like, not all of them, but like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I accomplished every goal I had, right? My wife is gonna tell you the same thing. But like most of them, you can look back and be like, I did this, this, and this. Right. When you do that, you know what I mean? Then, you know what I mean? Then you're not just talking. The problem is people are talking, they're not writing their goals down. They're not even having a goal to begin with. Which is a whole nother.
That's a whole bigger incident.
A whole nother podcast, but another video. But you know, that's why with the whole talk less do more. That's the problem. I think people they like to talk about stuff, but they never even research what they're talking about. They never research like, oh, I want to do a podcast, or I want to do a own my own business, or this and that. But you never even looked into doing it.
Yeah, never even did research.
You took your leisure time, like we said, we all lazy, and you were like, I'm just gonna veg out and do some bullshit. Yeah. Instead of writing down, what does it take to open a business? Like, you can look it up on Google. That's the crazy part to me.
Right, because these days it's different than back in the day. These days you can look. They're giving you the whole blueprint.
And I'm not saying my YouTube or even my clothing line. I'm not saying that shit is up to par. Or that shit is like blowing up, and I'm just gonna be, you know, killing shit, right? Yeah. I'm not saying it yet. I'm saying it will be. You know, if I keep working on it and keep pushing and keep, you know, pressure on and keep, you know, moving around
and staying consistent.
But I had to look it up to even start it. Yeah. Right? I didn't even think it was possible to start it like that until I looked it up and I looked on YouTube and I said, oh, okay.
Oh, this is how I can do it.
Oh, okay. Then I can do this. That's it. Let me at least start it and then keep, you know, and then you got to keep learning and keep growing. But
we grow with it.
That's what I'm saying about when people. I hear a lot of people talking, and I hear it, and then you know what I mean. And I try not to be.
I try to do this.
Yeah, I try not to do that, and I listen, and I'm like, that's great, man. I hope you do it.
We hope the
but
best
the problem
for the person.
is, you know, a lot of people
most of the time they're not going to do it. Yeah. And think about it. If we would have talked about the podcast, man, it would be great if we can get some of this content out. It would be great if some of the conversation that we've been having, we could just put it on a video, and then that was it. We wouldn't be 30 to 40 videos in already that we've already put on our site. And manage our own site. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not like a college. I didn't, you know, do all this shit. Hey, bro, you are smart.
But I'm saying, if you look in like the space of things, I'm not like you
Yeah,
know, put me
not-
like my GPA, you
no.
know, this and that. I don't know what my
IQ
IQ
and
is,
shit.
but
No, me
my IQ might be high.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
even
saying,
know what
it could
what a
be.
high IQ itself.
It could be, but I don't know.
I'm a 2.
But I don't know. So what I'm saying is, all I did was just look up stuff. Like we just look up stuff and go from
And go
there.
from
Like
there.
what? There's nothing that can happen bad.
Yeah.
If you look it up, you say, all right, to start my own.
Yeah.
I love looking into shit. Like I've on Instagram, you see like I've seen one that said start your own liquor.
Yeah.
Right, which is crazy to me. I'm like, ah, damn, I can do that. And it's like, oh, all you gotta do is this, come up with $10,000, blah 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 blah.
Somebody said to me, he goes, I want to
Just
be
know.
I want to write a book. I want to be a writer. Right? And he explains
look
to
it
me,
up.
he's like, dude, I have all these ideas. He'll literally tell me the whole story of his
Like
book
a whole
idea.
plot.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. What is you telling me going to do for you, though? You want my approval? Or do you want to go do your own research on how to actually get that book made, published, edited,
No.
and etc.?
You know what
There's
I
a
think-
lot of
you know what I
processes
think-
to it. It's not just, you can't just come up with the idea, I want to write a book.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's a whole foundation that you have to go through in
I
order
think
to
a
get
lot of
that
people
stuff.
tell people stuff so that they think that they're gonna have this movie story where I'm gonna tell this guy
Mhm.
and this guy's gonna introduce me to this guy and this guy's gonna put it on.
And it just
blast,
happens.
right?
Like I was a fighter. Dana White's not gonna knock at my door.
Yeah.
I gotta go fight
You gotta
to
go
get
fight,
the guy.
be seen,
Yeah, get
and then
popular.
get popular, and
Probably
then
get-
White
go-
will get
I
on
have to-
Contender.
have to
or
be
whatever
involved
that
with
thing
a
is.
gym, probably something
Yeah,
like
you
that,
gotta
right?
do all that stuff.
There's
It's
a
not
lot
gonna
of
just happen. So like,
Footwork.
my son said he wants to do an anime. So him and his friends, they came up with his own thing. He says, you know, this kid is in for character. This is my son at 10. Character development.
Oh,
He said he's doing the characters and the other kids taking care of the plot.
wow.
He has to look that up.
You already said, yeah.
Like I didn't tell him that.
Yeah, yeah.
He has
You
to
had
be
to
able to
look it
look
up.
that up to see that.
10.
Right?
10.
So he's doing that, and there's a lot of adults that out here like, oh, I'm gonna get my own business. Okay, a plumbing business. I'm like,
How?
how? Like,
When?
what are you
What
gonna
did you
do?
do? Where's
Did you go
your
get your
first step?
master's yet? Did you do this? Did you do that? You know, it's $10,000 just to even open up your license, my boy. Oh no, I don't know about it. Okay, well
Oh.
then you're gonna be.
So
It's
you
gonna take a
bullshit.
long time.
So you damn bullshit.
So it's like just look up whatever you want to do. If it's something that you say you want to do, you want to be a graphic designer or whatever it is.
you
look
could
it
do,
up.
you could pretty much, like there's a lot of people in this world, maybe not everybody, but there's some people in this world who could pretty much do anything they wanted to as long as they put their mind to it. Again, I want to make sure you understand that not everybody can do this, but there are some people out there that can. And with a little bit of research and work on your own, you could eventually gain that extra knowledge to get to that goal. And no matter what you do, even if it's not something you're actually going to do, it's always good to gain knowledge on something that you don't know.
I love it. I love learning about
Yeah.
that shit.
Expand your brain, man. Expand your knowledge on things, especially something that you're interested
I'll
in.
tell you, like, and then I just there's it coming to my mind too about it too. Is I just listened to Judge Judy was talking, and she was saying, you know, whatever your goals are, or whatever your dreams are, you know, it's not about your age. She said, like, some people get them at 20, some people get them at 30, some people get them at 40, some people even started doing it at 50. And then she made up an example about Grandma Moses, who started painting at 80.
Mhm.
Right, and now her paintings are being sold, resold, and stuff like that. And that was at 80 she started painting.
Wow.
So it's like
It's
it
never
doesn't
too
matter.
late.
There's no excuses.
No, it's never too late.
Yeah,
I'm
no
too
excuse.
old. I'm too
Yeah.
broke. I'm too beat up. I can't do it now.
No excuse.
No. As soon as you, if you have that passion for it, especially with like something like that with painting, that's a great story. Like,
At 80 years old. So
Yeah.
it's like
follow
if you
you.
can do that at 80, bro. Listen, you could you could start something at 30.
Yeah.
Most people listening to us are probably in 30.
But if you're an idea guy and you have if you're a creative guy and you have all these ideas, it's just an idea. It's not a
gotta
actual
find out how to
strategy
do it,
to
yeah.
plan out. There's a difference between the guy.
Action.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk action.
More action for sure.
That was important.
All right.
In your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. And if you didn't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. And if you didn't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. And just remember Grandma Moses. So she was a painter. And she didn't start painting until, I think, in her 80s. And one of the most prolific painters.
It's never too late.